Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday night Anamkara meditation program. And Happy New Year. Happy, joyous, Shakti, grace-filled New Year. This is our first satsang of 2025. And I'm so delighted that you were able to join us for it. It's just great to be in your company, to be in the presence of people who, want to know the infinite, the divine as their own self and be empowered to walk that into the world. That's you. You're the best company there is. So thank you for coming and bringing your divine presence and sharing it with everyone. So here we are, the beginning of a new year. And, newness, well, that's something that really kind of captures our attention. The new year, new beginnings, new. It's always curious, when does new become old? We're always starting to get tired of saying Happy New Year to people, so it doesn't take too long for new to become old, because that's the nature of the mind. So when we're looking through the eyes of our highest vision, right, then we're starting to see that, oh, there's a freshness, a newness, an aliveness, a presence here and now. That's what's new. So in sadhana, we go way beyond the conventional understanding and celebrations of new and new beginnings. We're looking to see what's the heart essence of that. The divine is known as ever new, because she's creating the moment every time new. This moment, every moment new. It's always new, right? So by becoming attuned to the creative force of the infinite, Shakti, that's you. That's your body, that's your mind, that's every thought, that's every pulse of your heart, that's every breath. We're coming into the source of newness. We get to see the dimensions, the vastness, the infinitude of newness. Every moment. Isn't it every moment? So I want to invite you now to take a moment, close your eyes, and this is an invocation. So just let yourself sit, and eyes closed, awareness, just listening, and see what it invokes for you. New. Now. Always new. Now. Unsullied. Free. Infinite possibilities. Simply be. Boundless presence, quietly free, gazing, serenely joyous. Now, born anew. Now, new, glistening, fresh, alive. Ooh, now, new, ever present you, gazing, serenely full, wonder, seeing, being. Now. Being now. Being now. That's what all our practices, all the great sages and saints, siddhas, everyone points at. It's here. It's now. That's what it's about. How do we bring our awareness into now? Because it's always running off into the future, whether gleefully or fearfully, or same with the past. So we're always bringing it here, now. That's where it is. That's where we are. That's where we're one. We're one in the nowness of being all that is. Because that's all there is. Anything else, now we're in creation of mind. If we leave the fullness, the infinitude of being, that's always present here and now, it's only because we entered the illusory domain of the mind. Doesn't matter that that's where most everyone lives all the time. So we feel we have company there. It's the company of delusion. It's the company of illusion. So we leave that behind. That's where we leave behind suffering. To come into here, to come into now, to come into the fullness of being that holds it all. That's what we're invited to. We get a glimpse of it with the collective, celebration of the new year. The new, it's now, it's possibilities. How do we keep that open state? How do we keep the aliveness of not just the new year, the new day, the new moment? That's what all our practices are aimed at, separating us from the ordinary mind that scurries off into the past, scurries off into the future, and can barely stay for an instant in the now, in the present, in the here. This is from Kali's Bazaar. This is it, my friend. This day is it. This day is the unfolding of the glory of God. This is it, my friend. This hour is it. This hour is the unfolding of the glory of God. This is it, my friend. This moment is it. This moment is the unfolding of the glory of God. This is it, my friend. This breath is it. This breath is the unfolding of the glory of God. This is it, my friend. This creation is it. This creation is the unfolding of the glory of God. This is what we're capable of knowing. That consciousness is ourself, birthing moment upon glorious moment. To know life as grace unfolding is to leave behind the ordinary mind. That's what we're invited into, that pure knowing. That's what we practice for, to enter the spaciousness that is full. So Buddha talked about the four immeasurables, the boundless fullness of these four. This is really for the mind, because there aren't four, there's only one. But the boundless loving compassion, the boundless wisdom, the boundless rapturous joy, the boundless unshakable peace. Well, that's here. That's now. Where? Oh, just the other side of the mind. That's why Buddha said, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhiswa, gone, beyond, completely beyond. Hail the goer. So mote it be. You're the goer. Going beyond. Not anything outside, just beyond the attachment and identification with the mind. That's what makes up the bars and locks of the prison that the ordinary mind dwells in. Attachment, identification. The more we let go, the freer we become. The less we do, the more we become aware of infinite being. Not limited doing, not the little I, ego mind doership. I want to know the infinitude of being. So that's what we're invited to. So when we begin the new year, or begin a new day, begin this new moment, one of the qualities that's really important to understand is that we bring to that and bring to practice is enthusiasm. In ancient Yoga Sutras, it says a yogi is one who enthusiastically engages in practice for lifetimes. Lifetimes of enthusiasm. Oh, the poor ego mind goes, oh, I can't do that. I can't sustain that. What am I supposed to do? Excuse me. But it's the enthusiasm. Hmm? Enthused means to be filled with spirit. So it's another aspect of letting go. So this enthusiasm that we bring, that's critical. That's a critical aspect of our practice. And when it's the hint is filled with spirit, right? Because the mind thinks it's the generator of that. It's impoverished. That's why it sort of contracts. Goes, how am I going to do that? Enthusiasm, filled with spirit. Oh, I step aside. I let spirit carry me. That's the enthusiasm. So it's opening, letting go. It's stepping aside. It's saying that, oh, my practice is one of attuning to this river of grace flowing through me. This river of grace flowing through mantra, flowing through practice, flowing through every moment. That's what we're attuning ourselves to. So it's less and less that kind of ego-driven doership. Because it can't just generate enthusiasm. Dials into it. Engages it. It can cultivate a positive attitude that creates the space for that enthusiasm, the living quality of the power of Shakti that's in the practices. That comes up. Yes, I want that. Oh, I want that. That's tied in too. Longing. Longing builds enthusiasm. So why do the great sages and yogis and saints like Kabir and others talk about longing and longing for the divine? Oh, because that longing, well, that's a sister of that enthusiasm for practice. I want that. I long for that. I need to know that. I give my life to that. I'll give countless lives to that. I give my every breath to that. I give every moment to that. How do I give every moment to that? Oh, I keep Om Namah Shivaya, Om Kali Ma, Om Mani Padme Hum. You keep the mantras going. That's giving your awareness to the living presence that is now there in a form that the poor mind can actually be in touch with. Because the boundless infinitude escapes the limited mind. So out of compassion, the boundless one takes these forms of practice, the forms of mantra, the forms of wisdom, forms of contemplation, all ways of saying, come home. The divine constantly saying, come home, come home. The divine embrace is awaiting you. So we practice with enthusiasm. We practice with that longing. That's what empowers our practice. There's grace empowering our practices. But in terms of what we can bring to that, what we can then support the transformative process that grace is unfolding, is by cultivating, staying with that enthusiasm, seeing what blocks it, what jams it up. When we start negative thinking, when we start doubting ourselves, you start to be the obstacles. We set them aside. We come back. We come back through contemplations. We come back through chanting. We come back through mantra. We come back through serving others. We come back through loving others. So many ways we're invited to leave the ordinary mind and its petty concerns and contracted ways of being, to leave them behind. The greatest practice is compassion. The greatest discipline is patience. The greatest path is love. Resolve to faithfully and enthusiastically follow these, and you will know yourself to be free. The practice of compassion. That's selfless. That's why it's such a great practice. We set aside ourselves in order to be compassionate. We set aside any little wants and needs we have to be dialed into the suffering, the needs of others, to be moved out of that compassion, that loving compassion. Compassion and the acts of that are acts of love. They're integral, central to the path of love. That is the essence of practice. Not going into samadhis and exalted states. Those are nice. But what does it do for you here and now? If it doesn't erase the ego, that's the only importance of those exalted, expansive, transcendent experiences, is it gives us a reference point outside of the petty little ego mind. So you say, oh, there's this infinitude of being. There's this infinitude of love that can flow through. And I never have to worry about, oh, it's too much. They need too much. What does that mean, they need too much? It means I'm caught up in being identified with a drop of that compassion, not the ocean, not the boundlessness of it. We see the world scrambling around, fighting, all because they believe there's so little. And if I don't have enough, I have to take it from somebody else. It informs our entire political and economic system. Delusion. Oh, the fullness of being. When we live that, and then enthusiastically, we start to see, oh, yes. We give a big yes to the fullness of being, our being, that we have so much to give. So much to simply be present with. Often what we're giving is simply to be really present, to be fully present. The attention, the loving, caring, compassionate attention that comes with really, truly being present, even silently, doing nothing. You radiate that. And you give that through that luminous attention that's born of the infinite, that conveys the infinite qualities of compassion, love, kindness, peace, ease, steadiness. This is what we're capable of. So when we practice this, when we become, immersed in that, yes, then we know ourselves to be free. Free. Moment by moment, free. So when we are considering what it is to begin anew, let's bring it right down to, this moment. New. Now. New. Always new. Now. Always new. Glistening, fresh, alive, full of Shakti. New. Now. You're ever new. But the mind says, no. I've been around. What's it identified with? It's identified with all kinds of past patterns, actions, traits of mind and body that it clings to and holds on to, brings the old into the moment, and then feels the wearisome nature of that, brings it into even the new year, despite whatever resolutions or whatever. It doesn't change. And so the new year turns out to be just another old year. Oh, that's because of the nature of the mind, clinging to old patterns. It doesn't want to. What's the fresh? What's the new? What's the alive? What's the revelation? Revelation is moment by moment. There's not one grand revelation, and then what happens? No. Now. This is it. This moment is it. This moment is the unfolding of the glory of God. Regardless of what's going on in the ordinary world, when I wrote that, and because I heard it, I was sitting in a traffic jam in Cincinnati on my way to work at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. My back was in furious pain. I was going to have major back surgery in 3 days. I was waiting in rush hour traffic to get to the hospital to my job. And I'm just sitting there breathing, mantra going, just being present with the body and its pain, present with the traffic jam and nobody going anywhere, present with people being angry and frustrated, just being present. And then she spoke that. This is it. This is it. This day is it. This day is it. This moment is it. This is it. The unfolding of the glory of God. This is it. To see through the eyes of wonder. To see through the eyes of your blissful, divine self. Is to see the unfolding of grace in the moment. We're so wedded to seeing through the eyes of the mind. And it's compare and contrast. It's this, it should be this way. It should have been that way. It isn't this. It isn't that. I can't be happy. Everything about it is conditioned. Its happiness is conditioned. It puts down conditions. I'll be happy if I get what I want. That's not happiness. The joy of the infinite is unconditioned. It embraces everything, all that is. Its love is unconditioned. It doesn't love you and all that is because. It loves because. No, because. It is love. Creation is the unfolding of the creative love and expressiveness of the infinite here and now. Unconditioned. Not bound by anything. That's what we're coming home to. That's what the practices brings to. That's what it is to know. That's the gift of Kundalini Shakti. That's just it's a Sanskrit term for the power of the infinite to know itself like that in its full infinitude, even while knowing its finite nature. It's not an either or. It's all this and more. All this and more. All this and more. Unimaginable, inconceivable to the mind. But that's what our true nature is. That's why it's possible. It's not possible for the mind. This isn't a mental construct. This isn't a philosophy. This isn't something the mind thinks up and can grasp and then inhabit. But that's what it tries to do. It tries to posture that way. Posture as if it's knowing. Posture as if has that boundless compassion. It runs out very quickly. Posture as if it's unshakable in steadiness and has that patience. It runs out very quickly. It's a good discipline for it to practice. So it should practice. But we're talking about the state of knowing. So when we talk about meditation as a practice, well, those are the things we do. How do we sit? How do we breathe? How do we do mantra? Do we just enter stillness, spaciousness, set aside all thoughts, these are all practices. And there's a process of meditation, a transformative process, unfolds over time. That's what the great yogis and sages and saints will talk about, that what happens with sadhana practices over time. It's transforming. It's transforming the vehicle of mind and body. Creating the spaciousness within them, meaning the non-attachment, the non-identification, so that the fullness of being can be experienced here and now. So it's a transformative process. But then there's the state of meditation. The state of meditation is the state of the infinite, yourself. Unbroken, eternal, not created by mind, not born of practice, not born of mind or body or anything else. It's the very nature of being. Being, fully, all-encompassing, all-loving, all-embracing consciousness. Inhabiting, becoming all that is. The mind can't describe it. These words point, but they're pointing so far beyond themselves. We get lost looking. So we keep coming back to that letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go and letting go. Letting go of doing. Letting go of doing meditation. You can do a practice, but ultimately the doing of practices gets in the way, dissolving into the state. Dissolving into the unity. Dissolving into the one you already are. Just the other side of I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a this, I'm a that. Just the other side is I am. I am. Not those words, not even the mantra the awareness. Nothing left out. All you see is your own sublime self. Yes, as those points in time and space that we call objects and people and everything else, that's you. And all that's beyond. And the sublime consciousness, like space itself, that holds it all. All planets, stars, galaxies, universes, all held in the infinitude of being. To know that, we leave the mind behind. We just let go and let go. Means we keep shifting our attention away from what captures it. What captures the mind's attention? Oh, movement. Movements of thoughts, movements of feelings. We might call them memories. We might call them sensations. We might call them, the visual field, the auditory field. All movements. All movements of perception, all movements of the nervous system, all movements of the brain, the body, all movements. The mind is movement, so it loves movement. It's attached to movement. It is movement. In that spaciousness of being, where movement ceases, the mind ceases. And the luminous, infinite field of awareness is directly known. Not as a perceiver and a perceived, as being that infinite field of luminous awareness whose quality is all-embracing love. That's you. That's you. It's you right now. Again, the mind keeps thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna become that someday." No, that's you now. Knowing fullness is letting go now. Knowing infinitude of being, oh, that's now. That's letting go of everything now. Everything the mind entertains has a limited eye awareness attached to it. That's what's let go. Just what is there. Doesn't have to go blank. It doesn't have to go dark. Just that little eye is absorbed in the divine embrace. And then it's filled beyond words. Ineffable. Your fullness of being. You're so sublime. Words can't say. And we come to know that more and more in the stillness, the spaciousness that is untouched by movements, sounds. That stillness, that spaciousness, that state is unaffected by movements of mind or body. That state is unbroken. That state of meditation is unbreakable. So if we enthusiastically look forward to practicing meditation as almost like sunbathing. You don't do anything to sunbathe. You go out and you just lay in the sun and you're warmed and illuminated. Meditation can be like that. You sit to just bask in the fullness and the radiance of the divine presence. And it starts out, there's you and the divine, until only the divine remains. And then even when the mind moves, even when the body moves, you remain aware. Because awareness itself isn't diminished by movements of mind and body. Once we've freed ourselves from the habitual identification with mind and body that contracts awareness to the point, the little minuscule point of being a little me. And we've let that go. Well, this little me can exist. It's a molecule of water in an ocean. Now you know the ocean and you know that little point. All you, all the time. Eternally, you, eternally present, eternally informing that light of grace, that light of consciousness, informing our experience of this world. Even the little consciousness we have in terms of ordinary mind and body is a ray of the infinite light of consciousness as a self, the divine, God, Goddess, the all-pervasive one. So we come to know that, revel in that, live in that. So let this be this moment where you know that. And then this moment. And then this hour. And then this day. And then this new year. And remind ourselves, this is it. This is it. This is the glory of the unfolding of God. This is it. You are it. Tatvam asi. Thou art that. You always have been. You always will be. So the only refuge that frees us from pain and suffering is to come home to that fundamental, eternal truth of being. Being what you already are. In all your fullness, in all your glory, you are that. So when we chant mantra, like Om Kalima, Kali Namo Namah, Om Kalima, Kali Durga Namo Namah, or Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Mani Padme Hum, or any of the great mantras, Ah Hum, Hum Sa, any of those, we're doing with awareness, I am that infinite one, became a throb to give the mind something to take refuge in, to take hold of, to dissolve in. Or you're going to go beyond all of that. All forms are born of the one. To go into the one, let's go beyond all forms. So we're going to chant now for a few minutes and then just sit in that stillness. At the end of meditation, I'll ring a gong and we'll close up for the evening. But now we're just going to chant, knowing that the mantra is a throb of your own being. Om Kalima. That's the Divine Mother giving birth to this reality moment by moment. So we're attuning ourselves to our own source. The mind always starts out thinking there's two different things and they're separate and who knows how much distance there is between them. That's an illusion. And there's only one. And you're it. And you're it as mantra. So we'll chant. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kalima. Om Kalima. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Ma. Om Kali Ma. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Ma. Om Kali Ma. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Ma. Om Kali Ma. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. It's inviting the mind to let go into the stillness, the silence, and go into the silent repetition of Om Kali Ma. Om Kali Ma. Taking refuge in the divine, dissolving in that one, the living presence, the boundlessness of being, simply being the truth of who you are. Om Kali Mai. Om Kali Mai. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Mai. Om Kali Mai. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Mai. Om Kali Mai. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Mai. Om Kali Mai. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Kali Mai. Om Kali Mai. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo And we end with this prayer that may all our practices truly benefit everyone, and may all beings know complete freedom from suffering. Namaste. A meditation, basking in the light of the One. The light that's always present. You're always basking in that. Right here, right now. There's never a time, there's never a place when you're not in the divine's embrace. So in meditation, we're setting aside time to shift our attention from all the content of mind to be present with the luminous One, the One who illuminated every thought, every feeling, every experience, every memory, every cell in your body. The One illuminates it all the time. That light, that stream of light, unbroken. Meditation, letting go to the field of light. Whether it seems like there's two, one, none, dark, light. Mind doesn't have to imagine light even. It doesn't have to do anything. Let go. Let go. The luminous One. That's it all. Illuminates all. In ways the mind can't even imagine. So, surrender. Let go. Now. Now. Ah. Now. Never knew. Now. Ah. The unfolding of the glory of God. Now. And now. And now. If we forget, it's okay. Now. Oh, now. It's back. Now. Remember now. Wait, you forget now? Then you remember now. Oh, it's really a play of forgetting and remembering. Light is always present. The only shift is from awareness to non-awareness, from consciousness to unconsciousness. Make it simple. Remembering the truth, remembering you're in a field of light. That's who you are. That's where you always are. Come home to that. Come home to that. Revel in that. Delight in that. And then walk that luminous quality of your true being, the luminous quality of your boundless loving compassion, the luminous quality of your patience, your wisdom, your grace. Oh, walk it into this poor, hungry world. So desperate to know that. And looking in all the wrong places for relief. But you carry wisdom. You know. So thank you. Thank you for being ones who practice, who know, who live that into the world. You're carriers of the light of grace, the light of the divine, your true self. So thank you. Thank you for coming this evening and bringing the fullness of who you are. So with all my heart, with all my love, thank you for coming this evening. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Jai Ma.